a bird. It's a plane. It's
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to
the All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Welcome to the Krypton, and with me, a little behind on her, so I brought in James. Hey, James.
Oh, hey. Well, I'm glad I don't take care of the things Jania takes care of with you.
Hey,
Couldn't.
Best pals.
Not man enough for that.
The Superman of Red, the muscles. If James was cast in Superhero Project and they've already cast Super, he would be.
That guy was jacked, though.
Yeah. So let's see if there's any news. Let's see. There has been confirmed that James Gunn said some cover for the Suicide Squad. I did watch the episode. It was directed. It was cool. But it was just, it had no plot.
Right.
The other thing I noted was in that episode is like on a tease, like arguing off, and he mentioned the Hall of Justice boat. So I thought that was kind of hey, remember we did with the Hall of
Right. Once upon a time.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I finally saw his episode of Batwoman.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that was kind of cool. I think it actually influences the story. Something's going on with him.
Yeah, like it's little bits of like I like it. Or I'm thinking, like I said before, that I think he'll dawn in that Flash episode.
Right.
But let's get into some comics. We're a little, I don't want to say we're behind as much, but it was because like all the super books dropped, and it's just like, wow, okay, that's weird.
Yeah,
like,
they don't usually do that.
Usually they're able to. We had planned on doing like, okay, but the inconsistent schedule is ridiculous. But I have Batman in Action 2. What else did
I got Infinite Frontier #1 here, and I got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow #1.
That's the Tom King?
That's the Tom King.
Why don't you start us off, Girl, Woman of Tomorrow?
Get this out of here. So, it was fun. It was good. I don't want to say fun, because there was a couple of enjoyment parts in the book, but it's a pretty heavy story. It's a heavy story. It's gonna mess with my phone real quick. Turn it down. Sorry.
It happens. I forgot that the other day. I was talking. Hey, if Tyler his phone goes off, I think we're If Superman himself is cool.
All right. So this story takes place on another world. It's on a planet where they fight. It seems like older, almost barbarian type times is kind of how this world is represented.
Okay.
And the story is told from a young girl on that planet's point of view. Somebody named Krem killed her father, and she's basically sworn vengeance. So she's trying to hire people to go kill him, to go assassinate him. And she goes to try and find this warrior, and she lets him check out the sword, and he takes the sword and he smacks her like he's stealing it and walking away, saying he's going to use it to kill Krem, but can't really believe him. And Kara, she grabs the sword on this guy's loincloth and his belt and stuff, and she goes and she takes it from him, and she says she's celebrating her 21st birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So Kara's drunk in this bar on a world with a world with a red sun. She's here on purpose, but she's all alone. Oh no, actually, she's got Krypto with her. What am I thinking? She's all alone. She's got Krypto with her. Kind of like how they left for the stars at one point, back before death metal, like when she was traveling the stars with Krypto.
Okay.
But she defends herself. She drinks the rest of her alcohol because she says it's her birthday and she doesn't want to waste it. She doesn't have coin and she's not going to steal anything. So she finishes drinking it and she smashes the bottle in the guy's face. And they have a nice little bar fight, and she kicks his butt.
Of course she did.
Yeah. So really good. She wakes up hungover with the young girl at her place. Hungover because she actually roused in a bucket. But she doesn't kill people, and she's not interested in she's trying to talk the girl out of it. She said, goodbye, best of luck. Don't kill people. It's bad. Right. But so she sails off across this, lake, perhaps. But the young girl literally dives in and chases her across the lake, swims across the lake. So she's determined, and she finds Kara. She's never seen a spaceship before. So Kara has a spaceship there, and yeah, she doesn't know what it is, so she describes it. It's kind of cool because, like I said, it's more primitive than the world, and I am perplexed. And the way that she talks is kind of good too. Like you have to read it. It's very wordy.
Okay.
Of course, right? It's Tom King, but it's written very intelligently. It's not like, well, you know how I didn't like the Batman run too much. There was a lot of just putting something from another book or something onto the page, kind of making the art kind of representative of what he's saying. I saw a lot of that.
I need to read his Batman. I didn't read all of it. I liked what I did read, but I didn't study it. Like, I read a lot and then I stopped and then I read more.
Right. What I got to read was later in the run too, as well. So
when did he officially?
He went like 85 books. Yeah, Pretty sure the last issue of City of Bane was 85. Okay. It's supposed to be like 100. Yeah, but I'm
just trying to think because now they're like on one.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it was later in the books. I'm not really sure, but I've heard lots of good things about his other books, Mr. Miracle and Vision and stuff. So books I want to read, I've heard are extremely well and are extremely well written. And this one seems to be that way as well.
Well, it's kind of like, I feel like for example, I actually was until like the last two.
Yeah.
Because I kind of would have liked it to be a little bit more like, it feels like they get so many of these really great ideas and they start wonderful. They go, and then the last two, it's like it falls up, concludes, or I don't know. I kind of, Heroes in Crisis, I did not need a like comic book ending. I didn't need this cataclysmic ending of what
that
happened.
Time travel element that he had going on and everything.
Yeah, I mean, spoilers. It's like a 2 year
something like that.
The whole Wally West basic time travel accidentally.
Everybody at Sanctuary at the time.
Yeah, like I didn't like that made Wally look horrible, and it was a horrible character. And I just like I almost wish that like it was a Brad Metzler. Like if you go back and think about how he crafted Secret Identity, how it was like a personal. And I think that's the problem with. I like the idea in therapy counseling for letting there. And I think having somebody get in there and break that trust would have been a much more. So and then currently he's got the Batman Catwoman, which I like, but I'm not loving it because and I think once it's ended and all the books are out, I'll just read straight and I'll probably have because I feel like the story is it's too being spread out so much. So.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. But back to.
It's kind of like what Doomsday Clock was.
Right.
You were enjoying it, but then by the time she came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the delays on that one didn't help.
Exactly.
But, she sees a spaceship. She says, my apologies. I am perplexed by the machine from which you have emerged just now while, again, clothed in your undergarments. Because Supergirl was covered up. She had like a coat and a cloak on. She was completely covered up. Her Supergirl suit wasn't showing. So she wore her Supergirl suit underneath it, and after she took her home and took care of her, she saw it underneath, so she calls her super suit her undergarments. She thinks it's her underwear. Yeah, she says, Kara says, I'm not from here. It's like a horse I ride to get home, and this is what I wear out there. And you have to leave because the horse is already going, and it kicks when it finally goes, and I don't want you to get kicked, okay? Making her understand. So, and she didn't call her ride earlier in it. She called it a mount. She didn't call it a horse, but it's a four-legged mammal type creature. But the young girl offers the sword again, and Kara says, look, I understand your anger. It's hard to lose somebody, but you have to look for justice, not vengeance. You know, it's like my mother said, life is about compassion, not fury. So, the guy who killed her father, he stabbed him in the chest and just left him in the dirt and even left the sword sticking in him. So this is why she has the sword, why she's after him. And, so they're talking and the girl's upset that she won't help her, you know. The girl feels like she lost her world, and she says so, and of course it affects Kara, and Kara's gets teary-eyed after she closes her eyes. Next time you see it, they're glistening and red. So like she's getting to her. But next scene, Kara takes an arrow to the chest. And the guy that Kara took the sword from, he's got Krem, and Krem shot Kara with an arrow. Crypto comes out to defend her. They're under a red sun, and he fires an arrow and shoots Crypto as Crypto's running towards him. And Kara just like she's pretty BA right here. She's got an arrow in her. She stands up and she's approaching, and he shoots her with another arrow. And she keeps coming, and she's don't you even know who I am? I'm Supergirl. Do you think I give about swords and arrows? And she grabs the sword blade with her hand, cuts her hand and is bleeding, but rips it out of the guy's hand. At this point, she's got 3 arrows in her, and she knocks the guy out. And the other guy, Krem, takes off running, runs into her ship, and takes off from the planet. Kara left laying on the ground with Crypto, and the young girl kicked away by the blast of the ship taking off. It is. I actually enjoyed it. I wasn't sure what I was getting into going into the beginning, but it's just a few pages in before Kara shows up. And her characterization is interesting. It's different, you know? She's on an alien world. She's getting drunk. It's her birthday. She interacts with people. She interacts with this young girl. She's wise. She's without powers. And, you know, she's emotional because she's still, to her, getting over her world is only, you know, how many years ago? She's only 21.
That's one of the things I think is.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to picking up issue number 2.
I'm waiting for.
I'd say check it out.
I'm waiting for Jania's because she was really interested in Get a Girl. Comes out next, like she based off a discussion we had, and like, come on, Jude, your thoughts on.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. I have it in my stack. I haven't gotten.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. If you want to help out this show and any other show on Southgate and you really don't have the extra money to check this out, go to southgategroup.com. At the top, there's a link to Amazon. Click that, log into your Amazon, shop and buy like normal, and part of the money that you send comes back to us to help us with our pod. Hello, everybody. I just want to let you know that Southgate Group has its... That's right. For $5 a month, you can get exclusive shows, content, and interviews with the different podcasts of the network. This Week in Geek is a Patreon, so check it out with www.patreon.com/Southgate. We are always adding.
This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
And we're back. All right, so let's jump into, let's do Superman. Let's do action. Let's do it first.
Yeah.
Let's grab action. Now, did you get a variant cover or just the standard?
I got the standard cover.
Superman.
Oh, for the most part, it pretty much is.
That's why I tried out stuff. Like, what's the Kraken look? All right. Now, hey, look who's back. First page. Supergirl. I love because it's Lois and walking, and it's like they're up. It's frightened. It's world, and we see
it's a tongue twister, huh?
For me, it is. I can't talk about, read out like clear voices. It's good job. Thanks, Fred. That's what I call him.
Yeah.
But what I found, she's saying stay away. It's blue. Clark's trying to take the jeans off of her. And the one that Superman doesn't know how to. That's fine. He's trying to go back.
Right, because well, we find out in the beginning they think that they're a colony called Pelosians. Mm-hmm. Pelosians. That a society shunned off of Krypton. They left thousands of years ago. So, like, if these are ancient Kryptonian refugees, are they multi-generational from, you know, I mean, I would assume so, right? Yeah. So these are kids and kids and kids born into captivity on Warworld.
I would, and it is interesting. I don't know. I always like the fact that like with Clark, he only knows about Krypton. He doesn't.
Yeah, he never experienced Krypton firsthand like Kara did, or like these people never did, but their ancestors did.
Which I think is character. Now,
yeah, it's interesting though that the blue radiation.
That helps with.
That's pretty cool.
And that helps with. We hate that Superman and Super Blue Heat. I thought it was pretty cool.
Right. I could have almost seen somebody doing different levels of heat vision, like Superman Returns, how it was.
Yeah.
Like that in Smallville, how it was like faint and used more like heat. You could see the waves of the heat. And then in Man of Steel, how it was like low heat was like couldn't see the beams, but like the intense heat you could. And blue fire's hotter than that. Why couldn't the beams go blue? You know what I mean?
See, I would do if I was directing, and for like the previous episode of Superman and Lois, when he goes solar flare, I would have him using his heat vision, and then as he's pushing it, it goes from you know what I'm saying, and letting everything out, the hottest hot, the most powerful, and that's the blue. I also have an idea for Superman for comics. I don't know why I've never thought of this before. It's been done. He has super breath, and in his super breath, he can make it cold. Heat breath, man. Fire. He's fire, okay? Anyways.
Bizarro breathes fire.
Exactly. So, anyways, we're in Atlanta, and they're talking about this rock tablet, a piece that they have that they're calling Genesis, old. And the energy to convert from a little thing called power. And we have the Atlantean scientist basically looking at it and studying himself into it. And he starts saying dreams. Can you hear it? There are whispers, and he starts some back in the Superman and John. And I like that looks. It's almost like bringing that Batman where you have John like Robin and type. It's nice seeing. I like how they're. And I think if I was. Did they actually write?
Yeah. There was a point where I read Superman, Supergirl so, but something you have to continue to do. Like I know that second word there is that. Yeah, I do too. But I'd have to go letter by letter. It's just sad when I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I do have Krypton.
That's what I need to do. Just get the whole alphabet translated on my arm.
Yeah, but what's that?
I mean, this is my translator.
This is my native language.
Yeah.
I didn't hear me.
Yeah, that would be great.
Lois, quiet. I hate seeing I've tried to cars. You connect, and I like that they're talking about Super Thal, who was too. And I like how John's is in. Assuming it's very possible. There are more.
Of course not.
It always reminds me of that Star Wars episode. I sense a trap. We do. And then we have the scene of Batman, the criminals, and Superman of talking.
He tells him first line, "I don't need help."
It's just basically discussing the trap. I want the League with me. And he says, "We'll talk again to Batman." He flies off. Now see, Arthur, he flies. And this is what I was talking. Like this is a perfect example of like what I said about how just having that a little bit, just that hey, and then Superman arrives and like Arthur, and basically Arthur is fighting.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
He says they won't obey.
And I swear they're getting bigger.
Superman upper, and I like how one of the soldiers say, "And of steel, and Arthur's response, "He'll get it done." And Superman to its mouth, he's going inside of, and he's looking at lifts, and we see what appears to be that symbol of the super. About seeing just an, I don't know why.
I'm sure over the recording it does. He's blowing something.
What's going on, Arthur? We're talking. Arthur, the fragment. It doesn't. We have to. Arthur Curry, Captain. And this, okay, so I am not reading Aquaman. Aquaman is one of those books I really do enjoy reading, but I usually wait a while and then a whole bunch. I'm pretty sure I read all of it because they make the comment, Arthur Curry, I really enjoy, I don't like.
I would rather have the books, but I'm trying to make that transition on my DC Universe app, and I'm reading on Hoopla, so otherwise it'd cost a fortune to read everything physically.
Yeah, that's why I get the library. So I do like having it physical, because it's also easy to look at a stack of books. I'm going to take this out. Compared to the last page of the story, he says, "I no longer speak from confidence matter. Here's the fragment Atlantis." Of course, Superman. Let's get that look on his face.
Yeah, but he says the spacecraft crashed in U.S. waters. They're the property of the U.S. government. Arthur says the word U.S. waters may mean something not to an go home.
Yeah, good luck with it. I can totally see.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome how Superman froze the kaiju from the inside out. It was pretty awesome.
So let's go to now. What cover did you get of?
I got the regular cover.
I had the regular cover, and I pull it. They had one I had to. It's where it's Superman rip in front of him. That's too. I bought that, and I'm
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, the cardstock variant covers. Todd McFarlane just announced that his his $2.99 books, are going to have cardstock for no additional cost. The covers are all just for $2.99.
Yeah, see, I hate because like in these books they raised the price. Okay, so it's $4.99 now for Super, and they did it because they started doing the backup. And I'm like, drop the backup stories, or I think Phil said it. If they want to make something, go back to printing them where the paper's not, because this is a cardstock, but it preserves. Unlike interest, but I like this one. Up our that's it. I feel like this kind of
got the shadow breed.
Yeah, this one I feel like helped me. I think sometimes in certain have so much, but it really helps fill in of what happened, how he escaped, how Quarth fell shadow, Quarth's father, the father, to kind of really help on discover. I like how this is basically the story that's setting when John.
Oh, it is, because as you can see, the blue boxes have been Clark talking to John. It's like a letter to John. Is what all those blue boxes have been, and so this is like Superman setting up for John's new Superman book coming out,
which we're sure.
Yeah, so this is a good setup. It's a nice story about father and son working together, and about
a bad father,
like a transition. And it's mirrored by the father and son of the planet too. Korak, Odanum, and Baracus or something.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm trying to pick those out of my brain.
It's easier when you're reading silent. You're like, yep, okay. And then when you're like, pronounce that out loud, you're like,
right.
You're like John Wesley.
Yeah. So, I think the author Kennedy has done a great job of doing a story that fills in the gap, but just is a good transition story between Kal-El and John Kent, being Superman. So absolutely.
Basically, like you said, after there's a super we haven't.
Yeah. So how they defeat the Shadow Breed? So last episode they talked about Falder's radiation. The sun is saying use hyperviolet light between the ultraviolet and X-ray spectrums, and its construction was inspired by your father's heat vision. So they say, what is he saying? The hyperviolet spectrum, is that even a thing? Superman says, between the ultraviolet and X-ray spectrums, he said, my heat vision doesn't have that kind of nuance, but yours seems to.
Yep, and that's something just let John.
Yeah, so he uses heat vision. He's trying to focus his heat vision into a different wave spectrum, which is pretty cool. It's a cool thing to think about. And he did this huge blue blast that just seemed to wipe out the Shadow Breed and save everybody who was possessed by them.
It was it's a great story setting up, and the fact that it's written almost by super past style.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's really good. Talking about John, how a compassionate, selfless, outgoing, happy kid you were when you left with his grandfather. Yeah. But he says the next time you wonder, can't speak myself now, or read rather. But the next time you wonder if you measure up, or if you ever think of yourself as just the son of Superman, know that you're the Superman against whom all heroes will be measured someday. The Superman that I aspire to be. So, love your dad. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Cause we've got there's the idea that John has made some mistakes and struggled in the past in the future rather, possible future. And
past.
Yeah. And then the way that they discuss his possibility of not being the greatest hero in Infinite Frontier Zero, when they said keep an eye on John Kent. Well, but then here is Clark professing that he knows that John's going to be better.
And then we have Tales of Metropolis, Which Jimmy Olsen, I don't know, like, I feel like the story could be better. I can't even, the art is, I just feel like the story. And Steel appears.
That's why I kept reading.
Some blue guy who looks like to fight Colonel Guile, or I don't know. If the backup, I guess, like, my thing is the backups felt like story. The New 52 came with the Justice. The backups were basically chapter of Shazam. Then once that 20, I want to say 20 some, and then like 21 with Justice League or something like that was the end of the whole book, and then it was collected in the trade. So like the backups were interesting. It felt like it was building to something it could stand. Just the way the whole like you're being dropped into something, not starting. It's written to be a backup. Like the other one was that I read Black Story. Got
yeah,
a new parent.
Well, I'm glad I didn't read that at the time then.
Yeah. But all right, well, let's take another. Oh, do you have a comment there?
No, I mean it's in this story we get to see a Crata, which is kind of cool. That's Andrea Rojas.
Oh yeah, not Rojas.
Rojas.
Will she return to Supergirl? Who knows? Because she was in the first episode, then the whole cast just disappeared.
Yes, the entire yeah, for real. They didn't disappear; they were just in Phantom makeup.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, the Phantom Prime's actually like, hey, we'll take another quick break. We'll be back. If you're like me and you love listening to different podcasts about Super, I have a few that I want you to check out. Some of my favorites are The Last Sons of Krypton. Connor and Ray are always reviewing different books, and it's really nice and refreshing to kind of dig back into olders. The Aspiring Kryptonian, Tasman and her team are always finding interesting people to interview. Digging for Kryptonite has become one of my favorite ones, as Anthony digs into different eras of there's always the Always Hold On to Smallville, which I've guested on before. Step back into that nostalgia realm. So check out all these, and there are many, many more. So check out our Twitter, because we're constantly finding podcasts that inspire. And we're back. Now, here's what's sad about is I'm actually really thoroughly, and they cancel. It breaks my heart, man. Like, why not? For some of these books like this, I'm like, how about you just announce it and just plan for, like, I don't know, 6 issues? Like, Yang is going to write the first 6 issues of Batman, and as you get the last issue before issue, you're like, Batman and Superman's been extended for another 6 issues, or something where you feel like you're going to get the full, instead of like this idea all of a sudden they're like, we're canceling.
That's awful.
Did you get an alternate cover?
I got the regular cover.
Because it's awesome. Random Batman on horseback.
Yeah.
See, and I feel like this book could be the one that breaks the, like I've said before, mold where, here we go.
I'm ready.
First page. Our Superman Batman current art is an alternate.
Mm-hmm.
I like his just film talk, like they're ruining MASH cut. And he says, archive attacks. And I mean, I think it's fun. More golden characters that are golden remind me, but they're not like 66 Batmans. I really like these.
Yeah. Well, all this history that they have yet to experience, you know, that something from modern times injected into something so new that they would have to that they would have to figure out what it means.
I mean, it's like that. I just want to take
and it's like Sky Captain of Tomorrow and stuff like that.
I want to take a quick minute. Bane, Spider-Man.
She is decked out.
That's Dr. Adam jumps toward to stop him. Pardon me. Dr. Adam complete. He says, I reckon I destroyed long. You dare to master as Superman. He does that. The archive starts to get me and send me. He's going as Batman fly. Blip, Robin. And I thought this was kind of cool, but I was like, I thought they're chasing.
Yeah, with the Phantom Zone crystal like in his chest.
Looking scientist, and what I really like, and we see really even says we're seeing the Great Scott through the burn hole, and then we. This would be an awesome, almost Batman, Superman, corporeal to themselves, times different.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. That'd be a pretty sweet story.
That was my stuff. I give out way too much good advice, and we have, we basically have
charge for your advice.
It's El racing it, and it's basically looks like they're on top of it. And I
well,
love.
Did you notice where they were? Where these mammoth worms were? They were on Rand. Alana is Adam Strange's girlfriend or wife, Sardath father.
I knew, but I love when they're on top of the train.
I knew a dude named Randy once. He was crazy.
I just got attacked by Solomon, the Red Power, with Velociraptor claws, and my kids not. And Superman's like, sir, please, not one more step until I get answers. And you know what they call me, El Diablo. He shoots, and the bullet just bounces off.
What kind of witchcraft is this?
Nice to meet you. These are my partners, Batman, Robin, and
your friend is always so quick to make friends. Yeah, Superman's always quick to make friends, unless he's got to punch you in your stupid face.
Exactly. Why did that say that?
That is an interesting ensemble. She's prepared for anything.
Pretty much. And then we archivist and El Diablo. Whoa, you sure about that no gun rule? And then when we turn the page, we find out they stopped it. The Superman, how could you not my able to mommy stun him? Sardass tornado kid, and theoretically the same effect by flagging a tight the shot. And this is where we see all of his armor, and he says, "Thank you, my hero." Story. Batman's Artur. Is it okay? Is it Artur, and or is it just because they're trying to say Artur, the filmmaker?
Yeah, like a film auteur.
So is it?
I just call him auteur.
Yeah, because I'm trying to see if it's like he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Instead of like I was saying Artur because that's what it looked like. Seeing the way it's in this tech clear. So he said, "He looks. That is not my true name. An old god of tale, a son of peer of Apollo and Naiad, the other god forgotten, so forgotten, vultures or temple, so for my true name." That's and he talks about for generations I wondered the face of the tool came across the lights, the crowd, how it all.
The movie.
Then he said, went by the crowd of work, a new god of satellites. I followed it into heaven. God's soul with a dedication instead, and that desire case me. That's some heavy stuff, but really.
Yeah, because it's a magical incantation. It's a deity of stories, you know, and a magical incantation got warped. Yeah, pretty cool. His suit of armor looks pretty cool before he turns into this crazy film looking dude.
Yes, and it's interesting he's talking when he's outside, but now that I see how all the worlds, and then the armor's, and he says, "You stories of defied, stubborn, precious twist." The last page, not Apocalypse of Planet.
Being led by Etrigan.
It looks like I'm just like, oh, right, that is cool. But yeah, I really think I think that this could be something that taking, I don't want to say into like because I think sometimes comics a bit more.
Yeah, more comic.
Wraps up our comic. Right? Thoughts, quisms, queries, question, quintessence. I don't know.
Everything that we've read so far, everything that we've been looking forward to. Supergirl. Sad to see Batman Superman wrapping up, but I'm liking Jean Luang Yang's writing. I liked Superman Smashes the Plan.
We're getting to that book.
Yes, it is. Williamson's doing a good job with Infinite Frontier. Looking forward to continuing that forward. Philip Kennedy Johnson, he's going to stay on Action for the foreseeable future, and I'm liking what he's doing. And we'll be talking about Tom Taylor's Superman #1 next month.
Yes, we will. All right. And Krypton Report.
Look out in the sky!
The Krypton Report is part of the Southgate network of podcasts. If you have an interest, check out Southgate, your podcast. I bet it is. At the Southgate Group website, you can sign up for our news, get info on all the shows you can find which you'll also find links to sponsor great products and support the podcast. Also, our book, Podlight, Podcasting. It's a great book. Check it out. It's nice to hear people come from and why they do.